Alright, so this is a story about the first time I took LSD and everything I learned from it. So, the first thing that I learned while taking this trip, okay, here, let me explain what's happening. Me and my boyfriend took it, and I also had one of my best friends ever with me, and you know, we were all walking around just having a fun time or whatnot, and me and my boyfriend were tripping, but I just kept giving my friend a ton of weed. So, I mean, we're walking around, and I'm super excited for this. Like, I've wanted to do this for a long time, and, you know, I'm just in a good mood, so. Then, I'm like, we're walking around for a while. We pick up my friend and come back to my place, my little rave cave here. And, you know, like, I finally start feeling things, and I get the feeling of being like high, but at the same time, like, it's a new level of high, and I can just tell it's gonna get even crazier than it feels right now. And I was looking at these little Christmas lights over here, and like they weren't staying still anymore. They just, like, all the colors were just shifting, and I don't know, it was really pretty, and I liked that. And then my friend was playing my guitar, and, you know, just listening to him, like, I felt like so emotionally into the song with him. Like, I don't know, it was so nice. It was a nice feeling, and yeah. And then finally, I'm just tripping face, and we go outside to take a walk, and like everything is just feeling like an adventure. Like, I walked like 2 feet into my friend's house, and that was an adventure. And one of my other friends, like, drove his car and stopped by us and picked us all up and drove us to my friend's house, and I felt like I was in a rocket ship just sitting there, and it's just, oh my god, everything was just such an adventure. And I felt like that for like a good amount of the time as I was starting to get into the trip. And then finally it starts settling down, and we're walking on this bridge that's really repetitive, and it was starting to put me in a bad trip because I've never tripped before and I don't know how to handle myself on it. So, you know, we were on this bridge, and all of a sudden everything didn't feel like I was going on an adventure anymore. It felt nice. Everything was still beautiful, but I got rid of that feeling of everything being an adventure. And I mean, that kind of freaked me out because I thought that was the whole point of doing the acid, was to feel this adventure feeling. And, you know, I was starting to go away. I was like, am I going into a bad trip? And just thinking about that was like starting to put me in a bad trip. And my friend was like, oh god, I gotta get home and smoke, like, we should get her home and smoke, but she needs to smoke. And I was like, why do I need to smoke? Am I like in a bad trip right now? Like, I don't know, I was just overthinking everything they were saying. And so we finally get back to my place, and I smoke a little bit, but like, to be honest, I really just wanted to feel like the pure feeling of being on LSD without any other like, I don't know, outside forces affecting it. I don't know. But yeah, so we're smoking for a little bit, and, you know, I'm starting to settle down more and just enjoy the trip. And like, I begin to poi, which is spinning these lights. If you haven't seen any, if you don't know what poi is, just look at some of my videos I put up. But yeah, so I'm starting to poi, and I asked them to put A$AP Rocky on because he's my favorite ever, and that's just all I wanted this entire time, was to listen to A$AP. So they open up Spotify, but then all of a sudden I start hearing bubbles and clicks and like weird hypnotic tunes, and I was like, this isn't A$AP, right? Like, I'm not tripping this hard, like, this is not A$AP. And we found out that just the Spotify was open on A$AP, but my boyfriend put on some weird hypnotic, like, bubbling sounds, and I was like, I'm tripping balls, like, this is A$AP, like, what? But yeah, so I start pointing to that, and I get into this really, really, really nice meditation, and I just feel so into the music, and I'm just feeling it, and the music is just bringing on stories to me about my life. It's bringing on emotions. It's just so healing, and like I start to see patterns of the music just in front of me, just like vibrating just around me, and like it was like these little patterns that my poi just knew to go on, and no matter what I did with my poi, it didn't matter. It would never hit me, and they would never cross, and they would never tangle, and I had no idea what I was doing, but it was working so well. And as I was pointing to the music, you know, like everything was with so much emotion, so much passion, and just, oh, it was so beautiful, like beyond belief. But, oh God, I was going somewhere with that though. Yeah, no, but I'm pointing, and it's like really great and stuff. But then, you know, like at a point, my poi tingle, and the flow, the beautiful, euphoric flow just came to a stop. And right after that though, I just kept going, and to me, this wasn't just a stop in my poi, this was like a spiritual, just like awakening. Like I just realized that life is like the poi, and sometimes in life we get really lucky, and we get into really good situations, and it seems like we're on top of the world, but then some always comes around the corner and breaks this flow. And you know, like we just gotta keep going. Like we could sit there and just debate what happened and how we got into this rut, or we could just not think about it and just fix it. We can just fix it right there and then, and the sooner we fix it, the better we get at our flow, and the longer we can keep our flow, the more beautiful the poi will be. The flow, just life, oh God, no, like just poi is like life. You gotta keep going, and that's how you get better. And yeah, that's the first thing I learned. And then finally, after I'm pointing for at least like 4 hours straight, my friends want to do something, and I feel a little bit more comfortable tripping for a little while to actually go back out on a walk. And so we're going on the walk, and we're on this train track, and we're just walking and walking and walking, and this was the night of a meteor shower, and it was beautiful outside and the perfect time to go for this walk. And I mean, I'm hearing all these sounds in nature, and it's just so beautiful, and together they're just like coming together towards me as like this beautiful song. Just the crickets and our stepping and the sounds my friends were making, it was just all one and beautiful, and I was just in my own zone. And every time I would try to explain to my friends how I was feeling, like I get caught up and just end up being like, this is so cool or just like, this is so beautiful. Cause oh my God, when you're tripping on acid, everything is so beautiful. Just everything that you take granted for life in nature is just so gorgeous and has so much significance, and is just so important to like life and our being and being happy. It's just, oh God, it's just such a nice feeling. And like the walls and like the buildings are more stable and they look pretty normal, but all the trees and all of nature is just so alive, and you see so many patterns in the branches, and every little leaf has its own like detailed like story and importance. Like you just could pick out every single leaf of the tree. It wasn't just a tree that you were passing anymore. It just had so much significance, and just everything was so alive and good. And just like all my cares in the world, it was like, why do I even stress about so many small petty things when life around me is just so fucking gorgeous and I haven't even noticed it? Like, oh God, it was a beautiful feeling. So anyway, after this, we're walking on that train bridge thing, or train tracks. Okay, got ahead of myself. The train turns into a bridge. I'm sitting over the river, and I'm looking down at water, and oh my God, I am afraid of heights. And all of a sudden I was just on solid ground, and then boom, look down, 20 feet below me is like a river. Like, the fuck, like, how did you guys get me here? Like, oh God. But I finally got relaxed. We were gonna climb up it and stuff, but I was like, hell no, I need to like sit down for a moment. So sitting down, and oh my God, looking at the water and the lights of like there's like a building across and like boats coming in, and like the lights on the water were so beautiful, and I felt like I was looking into outer space, and the fog on the top of the river was just forming all these beautiful patterns and just shapes, and just I remember one time it just vividly like came up, and then like everything started shifting. It's like the pattern just started shifting, but it was so beautiful. Everything that happened just was so beautiful and happy. Like, it didn't need an explanation. I didn't need to be scared. Like, it was just welcoming. And then we lay down after that and we look up and you can see the train bridge and you can see the stars, and just looking out into the like sky and seeing like how small we are compared to everything. I remember the second point I learned from my first trip was that, you know, each and every one of us, like, come to face it, we're pretty insignificant, like, in comparison to like the world around us and the universe. It's so beautiful and we're just a tiny part of it. Like, we're not even that significant, and to not be that significant, to know that our appearance doesn't affect other people, like doesn't affect anything, like it was so welcoming to be so insignificant, because like when you're so insignificant, like no small little judgments even matter. It's just like, okay, I might be like ugly, I might be overweight, like look around at the world around us, like does that even matter right now? Like, it's so gorgeous, just take it in. And so I learned that too. And then I think it actually might have been on the way to the bridge, but it's just me and my two buddies, and you know, we're walking and they're both talking about things, but everything I try to say, it's like they don't understand, and you know, like every idea I would come up with, I felt like they weren't completely like on board with or whatever, but it's probably just because I was on acid and couldn't form sentences. But at that moment I was just like, wow, like this walk right now is just like the walk of life. Like, people are gonna be by my side and they're gonna come and they're gonna go, but the only one that's always gonna be on this walk with yourself is yourself. And like, you better be a good person, because you're gonna have to live with this person for the rest of your life. Like, take it in, take a moment, appreciate who you are, because this is all you got. Like, yeah, people may come and go, but they're impermanent. You're always gonna be in this body, and you need to learn to love it, you need to learn to appreciate it. Like, I'm sure, like, just appreciate yourself so much, and just, you know, be the best person you can be, because you're the only one you're gonna have to live with, and you're the only one who's ever gonna truly understand you. So, you know, make sure you're there for yourself. Like, these people will leave, they'll come and go, but you are the most important in this journey. So, yeah. Anyway, that is my first acid trip. I learned a lot from it. That's just a small fragment of the emotions and feelings. The visuals, like, it was a wild ride, and I'm so glad that night was my first trip, because it couldn't have gone any better at all. So, see you guys later. I'll probably talk about some weird other interesting, maybe not interesting topic, and you know, like, stay happy, love yourself, bye.